I hardly remember myself before the end of the world. But how could I? I was still just a kid when it happened. Not even 18. In 2020.
Pandemic.
A pandemic.
COVID-19.
Affected by a mysterious respiratory
virus in the city of Wuhan.
This is a rapidly emerging situation.
With the entire country on lockdown.
Suspending all travel.
The global pandemic.
Pandemic.
A pandemic.
On Outbreak Day. From one day to the next, life as we knew it was over. Because of a certain pandemic. I think you know the one. Less than half of the original population is left. We didn't find a vaccine in time, and every variant is scarier than the last. So, things have gotten kinda tense. But don't worry. This is a very different type of apocalypse story.
Veronica!
Lizzie, it's so good to see you.
Good to see you too. Hi. What's with all the tape?
Wasn't my idea. Trust me.
No worries. I get it. They were almost out of produce again at the shop, but I managed to get you at least some fresh stuff.
Why, thank you. You're the best.
Yeah, well, you have it worse than me right now. I'd give you a hug, but, you know, I should get going. Hopefully next week you'll be out of quarantine and I'll get to see you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Stay safe. Lizzie's been bringing me groceries over the past week in quarantine. One, because she was my intro week mentor, and two, because she's basically the only lasting friend that I've made here. But don't tell her I said that. Alright, I bet you have tons of questions, so let's take it back to the start. Or at least, as far back as I can remember. Intro week, freshman year. So, it's 2019, I'm 17, and I'm following my brother's footsteps to Delft to study at the most prestigious tech university in the country. I was incredibly nervous, didn't know what to expect, but I was excited. Intro week is like a citywide festival, and it's designed to make friends quickly. I was loving the crowds, and it didn't take long before my nerves dropped. Everybody's super nice to each other, and people seem to have it all figured out here. Everyone knows everyone. And any other student is really just a handshake away. And halfway through the first night on Introfest, something clicked in me. Things would be alright. The prospect of spending the next phase of my life in Delft is incredibly exciting. Like my brother did, who built his life here before me. He graduated at the start of summer, just before I started. And he did about 1 million things in his time, according to the stories. Friends for life. Of course, it would never go that way for me. But I didn't know that yet. The week flew by. There's a lot to discover in just a few days, with over 30 student societies, all of a different scale. I picked a favorite and I signed up. And gosh, I am beyond excited to start my new life tomorrow, but maybe I should get some proper sleep first. Bad news. I didn't make the draw, so I didn't get in. But maybe that's not so bad. It's a new study, a new city, and I need to focus. Besides, I'll just get in one next year. It's not that big of a deal. September goes by notoriously fast. Everything is new, nobody knows what they're doing yet, but you learn a couple of things quickly. 1. Delft is a city made for bikes, so you should get one. 2. There's an entirely made-up language by students that everyone speaks here, filled with abbreviations, phrases, and words to learn. Sounds crazy, but you'll get used to it. 3. With busy society lives on top of physics or aerospace degrees, the people here have very full schedules. In October, my brother came back for his society's lustrum, and he took me with him to show me some of their traditions. I eventually found myself a cozy room at the top of a huge student complex. Moving in went pretty smooth, and while I wasn't exactly where I thought I'd be 4 months in, I was on the right track. New Year's Eve was magical. All the students living in my flat came up to the top floor to enjoy the fireworks. It's all very exciting, going into 2020, going into a new decade. I have my own place, I'm a real student, finally. In April I'm turning 18 and then I can do whatever I want. This will be the first of 1,000 house parties. After summer break, I'll have my driver's license, I'll join a society like my brother, and it's only up from there. You heard it here first. 2020 is gonna be my year.
Het jaar begint met grote natuurbranden in Australië.
Successfully executed the #1 terrorist anywhere in the world.
Scientists in China are trying to determine if a new virus strain is responsible for an pneumonia outbreak in the city of Wuhan.
A very bad mistake. You'll find out. You'll find out.
People are in disbelief. The loss of Kobe Bryant.
More than 30 animals that burned to death.
Wow! Now, ladies and gentlemen, it's the national anthem!
International health officials aren't sure how it started. They don't know exactly how it spreads. They're not certain how contagious people are when they get it.
And it was only January. How could things possibly get any worse? Spoiler alert, things got worse.
And this now closed seafood market is probably ground zero.
A mysterious respiratory virus has more than tripled over the weekend.
It has confirmed cases of human-to-human transmission.
Now on lockdown as the country struggles with fear of a pandemic.
The World Health Organization has officially called it COVID-19.
Het virus tegen te houden.
By the alarming levels of inaction.
Restrictions on movement.
Zal het coronavirus ons land niet overslaan.
Relax.
So far, we have lost nobody to coronavirus in the United States.
TV zei dat handen schudden voorlopig niet meer mag.
Moment stoppen we met handen schudden. Dus u kunt voet zoenen, u kunt elleboog stoten, wat u ook wilt. Maar wij stoppen vanaf vandaag met handen schudden. Oh, sorry, dat mag niet meer. Sorry. Over. Zo. Ja. Erg, zo'n gewoonte. Ja, dat mag dus niet meer. Ja.
Geen mondkapjes. Nee, ze zijn hier vooral om te genieten van het skiën.
Bruins krijgt u een briefje in uw handen geduwd. Mij bevestigt dat er een patiënt is met het coronavirus in Nederland.
Ook in andere landen nemen de zorgen toe.
COVID-19 can be characterized as a pandemic.
Ik probeer het te vermijden, maar het is een beetje moeilijk als je allemaal hoorcollege hebt in dezelfde zaal.
I'm trying to get home, to be honest.
Yeah, no, same.
Oh shit, speaking of, my mom said they might shut all the trains down.
All the trains?
Like every train. I was celebrating because I would have had an exam tomorrow, but I guess that's canceled now.
Oh,
But wow, I mean, I hope it is just 2 weeks.
De ministerraad vandaag stond in het teken van de aanpak van de coronacrisis. In één zin samengevat, Nederland gaat vanaf morgen op slot.
Suddenly things weren't funny anymore. What had started as jokes online had turned into full-scale lockdowns worldwide.
Dat betekent dat het land helemaal op slot gaat.
We had officially had the last normal morning.
Rigoureuze aanpak en deskundigen wijzen erop dat het bepaald geen kwestie van dagen of weken zou zijn. En zolang er geen vaccin is, zal het coronavirus als een golf door de wereld blijven gaan en ons land niet overslaan. Blijf zoveel mogelijk binnen. Dus restaurants, cafés, musea gesloten.
Het nieuws zorgde voor megadrukte in de winkelstraten.
Het Outbreak Management Team heeft ons ook geadviseerd om niet te gaan hamsteren. Het is niet nodig.
Het is zo druk. Mensen echt met 10 broden zien lopen.
Want die neemt gewoon alle wc-papier mee. Gewoon 16 pakken met rollen.
Die gaan in Amsterdam.
Krankzinnig. De meeste vakken zijn leeg en de mensen vechten om een brood.
Toevallig een feestje morgen. Met 105 man. Nou, maar dat is een geintje hoor.
Mensen moeten wel een beetje normaal blijven doen. Nou, ik erger me er enorm aan.
Wat zou er gebeuren als er echt oorlog uitbreekt?
Suddenly I was stuck in my room. So were you. So was everyone. But hey, this is kind of like a 2-week vacation, and I turn 18 right when this all ends, so I'll just celebrate extra hard when it does.
Eventuele verlenging van alle maatregelen na 6 april.
Birthday, dear Veronica. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Veronica.
Thanks, Mum.
And make it a great day. We think about you and we raise our glasses here for you.
De instellingen van het HBO
Bye-bye.
En de universiteiten geldt dat zij grootschalige hoorcolleges het beste vanaf nu online kunnen aanbieden. En het zal u niet verbazen dat we inderdaad tot een verlenging hebben besloten. En wel tot en met dinsdag 28 april.
That +4 really hurt. Then there was another one. And another one. And another one. Flatten the curve, Tiger King, toilet paper. I'd actually really rather not talk about it, if that's okay.
De straten zijn leeg, de treinen zijn leeg, de kantoren zijn leeg. We blijven dus zoveel mogelijk binnen. Ik reken op u. Boodschappen doen we alleen. We houden die 1,5 meter en wassen onze handen stuk.
We doen dat allemaal om onze ouderen te beschermen.
We realiseren ons dat we veel van mensen vragen. We zijn voorbij de start, maar we zijn nog niet aan het eind van het begin.
So here I am, 18, living on my own for the first time, and completely alone. With none of the friends or parties or life experiences or fun that I was promised.
Zeker voor de eerstejaars is het heel lastig, eenzaamheid.
Wel echt jammer en zeker als het heel lang gaat duren. Bij een leeftijd tussen 18 en 23 word je natuurlijk niet heel blij van binnen zitten en maar een select groepje mensen te zien.
Burgemeesters kunnen vanaf nu boetes uitdelen als mensen te dicht bij elkaar lopen.
So testing is not reliable and so we won't be doing it.
Als iedereen zich vanaf het begin gewoon aan de regels had gehouden, was dit waarschijnlijk niet nodig.
De stad staat werkelijk stil als je de beelden ziet, bijvoorbeeld van de overvolle stranden.
En daarmee asociale manier van omgaan met maatregelen.
Van Rutte weer over jongeren en de maatregelen?
die werden aangescherpt.
Slecht voor het coronabeleid.
Sociale contacten nog verder aan te scherpen.
Het besluit om in één keer die quarantaine te gaan verplichten en strafbaar te stellen. Meneer de minister-president.
At some point, the people had decided that students were solely to blame for this crisis now. And we got fenced in. Practically overnight, the quarantine zone was born. The QZ, as we call it. Nobody gets in or out without a valid reason, until each of us tests negative. It was devastating.
Quarantaine vond ik wel echt heel erg zwaar.
Ik zit alleen maar op mijn kamer en kom eigenlijk alleen maar eruit als ik naar de wc ga of ga douchen.
We zetten bordjes eten voor zijn deur neer
En jongeren, dat weten we, zijn niet de groep met de hoogste risico's.
I tried online cooking with Lizzie. Not to any huge success. The only thing that didn't slow down in the QZ was uni, continuing at the same relentless speed and difficulty, while we were getting almost none of the education we all signed up and paid for. Did I mention there's a curfew?
Voor een avondklok. Dus een verbod om buiten te zijn tussen 8:30 's avonds en 4:30 in de ochtend. Dat gebeurt op het moment dat we ook allemaal coronamoe zijn. Ik ook.
Life in the QZ is slow.
It's horrible because you can't even really go outside at all. And I've obviously had to tell my flatmates to isolate, which was after only knowing them for like a week. It wasn't like the greatest conversation.
My foreseeable future is going to be spent in this room now. But at least that means I have plenty of time to decorate. So I've started making upgrades. But that doesn't make it less lonely. My social circle has been reduced to the notifications on my phone. Never really emotional anymore, and I wish that I was, because it implies you're experiencing something. Anything. It was truly heartbreakingly depressing sometimes. The weather got better, so I started going on mental health walks. And that was all right, I guess. Of course, the QZ made sure these were short walks, as there's only so many ways to circle the same block. Where most people's college experience consisted of grand campuses, professors and classmates, mine had online lectures and a lot of room scans.
Now, hold on, Veronica, you're going too quick again. What exactly is a room scan?
It's like this, Mum. Exams are online now, so they make us film our entire rooms to send to the professors.
Isn't that a bit of a privacy breach?
It's mandatory.
Surely they can't really force you to do that.
I don't know, Mum. Anything goes these days.
Maar het is maar een advies? Nee, helemaal niet. Adviezen zijn er gewoon om op te volgen, aan niet. Als de GGD zegt, ga met je kont op de bank zitten, doe je dat gewoon. En als de politie...
En er is protest tegen de maatregelen. Onze reis naar Griekenland heeft bij heel veel Nederlanders hevige reacties opgeroepen.
Ik doe niet meer mee. Alleen samen krijgen wij de overheid onder controle.
We houden afstand, 1,5 meter. Maar we zijn misschien wel dichter bij elkaar dan ooit.
De jonge mensen die zeiden, ach, ik ben niet zo bezorgd. Nee, misschien niet voor jezelf, maar je leeft niet alleen voor jezelf. We leven hier met 17 miljoen mensen in een land.
1,5 meter afstand, dat is een soort terreur die er wordt uitgeoefend op de bevolking.
Het is voor iedereen een moeilijke tijd.
My friends can't really be with me because of the coronavirus.
Home had turned into a prison. Solitary confinement for weeks was starting to get the best of me. I tried everything to keep my mind busy. The days started blurring together and I was about to lose my mind.
Maar eerst moeten we ons nog een keer schrap zetten.
De Omicron-variant is een mutatie.
Buiten wordt 2 mensen de maximaal toegestane groepsgrootte. Het is zwaar en het voelt alsof het alleen maar zwaarder wordt.
It just isn't fair. None of this is fair. I've grown completely numb. All this time, I could have been out making friends. I just wanted something like my brother has, that's all. But I think that ship has officially sailed for me. And I was so close to having it. It's almost poetic. A whole generation of kids robbed of having a life by bad luck and bad circumstances. The bad guy is invisible, and we're not even all on the same side anymore. So maybe we're stuck in this new normal forever, and we'll never go back to how things were before. One day I woke up to all this noise, and there weren't any fences anymore. No more quarantine zone. So I left. Instinctively, I grabbed my bike and I left. It wasn't exactly Liberation Day, but we were never going to get one of those. Where once there was the fence, there was now just a road. You're allowed one social contact per day, so first thing I did was meet up with Lizzie. Pandemic measures were still strict, so we couldn't meet indoors. Or shake hands, for that matter. So we just walked around together. And in many ways, it was perfect. Rotting in my room had made me so miserable, I almost forgot there was even a real world out there. A world where I can go anywhere. And in a pandemic, at any time. I was using my waking hours to explore my area, and all I could think about was what I might find tomorrow.
But pretty soon I'd seen nearly everything there was close by. And I wanted more. The explorer in me wanted more.
At the start it was easy. Without really trying, you'd end up somewhere new each day. Parks were my favorite. Anything green, really. In a couple weeks' time, I had a mental map of all my favorite spots and how to get there quickly. I once convinced Lizzie to come with me to my then favorite find, the Willow Tree Bridge. Keeping up friendships at 6 feet distance was hard, but making new ones was impossible. The pandemic meant I saw Lizzie once a month, if I was lucky. So I treasured every minute I had with her. Sadly, you can't stay outside forever, but there's always tomorrow, and the day after that. And all days after that are free too. At the end of each odyssey I went on, there was a cozy bed and a window seat waiting for me back in my headquarters. My little space pod in the sky. back in Ithaca. In a sense, I was relearning how to bike. Not the motions of it, but what it meant to me. Biking is the only thing that feels just as good as when I was a child. Even in the apocalypse. One lucky morning I went south, far away from the city centre, and I found a park I hadn't been to. It's pretty huge actually, it just sort of keeps going. And there's even a train that cuts through it. There's no way this is a park. It's a whole forest. But there's nobody around to explore it. It's like all this is here. Just for me. It's quiet here. Really quiet. I noticed a hidden path, and my curiosity got the best of me. What I didn't know is that I was entering what would become sacred grounds to me. Mother Earth. I came out the other end of the path, onto this platform, and I felt something I've never experienced on this scale before. Full isolation. In every direction. I was still alone, but at least I wasn't alone in a city full of people anymore. Just me, myself, and Mother Earth. It's paradise. Pretty quickly, I realized there's no turning back anymore. This is what I do now. After so much time without human interference, plant life was growing like crazy, looking almost alien at times. Sometimes I'd be exploring for a whole day and I wouldn't see a soul. As if a real apocalypse had happened. I'm sorry. I know I shouldn't say that. Hello? Hello? What is this? Where am I? Where is everyone? Oh, no, 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 no! My crew is gone. Presumed dead. Which leaves me stranded on an uncharted planet. Completely alone. The planet is vast and engulfed in sunlight. There's countless plant species, some animals, and even things like infrastructure that point to intelligent life at some point in the past. But they don't seem to exist here anymore. Luckily, the planet is otherwise sprawling with life. So every turn meant a new biome to explore, to observe, and to document. Suddenly I wasn't just collecting dust anymore. I'm an astronaut, exploring these crazy alien landscapes. I'm alone all the time, on a planet deep in space. And with no one to look at me. It's like I've gone invisible. Like I don't have to exist here. I still think about all the things I'm missing out on, for sure. But the thought doesn't torture me anymore. I've fallen in love with this green planet I'm slowly conquering. Time is frozen, and all that changes here is the sky above me. It's extremely satisfying being here all the time. And I'm finally feeling some much needed inner peace. Until the train. The first reminder in many, many hours that there is a world out there. A world that's real and hurting. The ICUs have been overloaded for months. People have had it with the pandemic regulations. Nobody knows what to believe anymore with all of the misinformation and mixed messages. But there's nothing you can do but wait it out. It's a world that's uncertain, all the time. And it's scary. And you live in that world. And there is no other world. But not when you're in here, I guess. When global lockdowns were at their worst, nature was the closest thing I had to freedom. And I realized that maybe all of those stories and experiences that I thought I deserved and I thought I was missing out on weren't so important. Maybe, in a weird way, these are my formative years after all. Maybe these will be my stories to tell one day, if there's ever an after the pandemic.